What's up, everybody? Dan Canelo, Chris Algieri, and we're here at DLX Boxing just outside of Las Vegas. It's Canelo Charlo fight week, and we're going to take you inside the ring and let you know what Canelo does well, what Charlo does well, and how each guy is going to use that to win this fight. Big fight, Chris.
Big fight feels this week. We're out here in Vegas soaking up all the big fight feels, and it's a big one, man. We got undisputed versus undisputed.
How often does that happen in boxing? So I can't wait to learn from Chris. I can't wait to show you at home what both these guys do well inside the ring. Let's go. All right, we're gloved up, we're ready to go. Big fight like we talked about. Let's start with the 168-pound champ, Canelo Alvarez. We've seen him fight so much, we know his style by now, but there are little small details that make him great, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Canelo has kind of mastered the idea of fighting the taller, slower guys. That's why he's been so well in these higher weight classes. He's almost always the shorter guy. He's a shorter guy once again coming into this fight, but he actually fights the taller guys really, really well. He's able to close that distance without taking too much damage. He closes that distance without really without getting hit much at all. He's got a really good defense, and that's something that I think he utilizes really well. It's an aggressive defense. So he's very explosive with his upper body movements, upper body rhythm. So when he squares up with his guy, and he likes to walk everyone down, get on the inside, because he wants to get to that body. Right? He's a true Mexican. He wants to get down to that body. But I see of him as like a new age Mexican, a hybrid Mexican, because of how much upper body rhythm and explosive defense that he uses to get his way inside. So a lot of times what he'll do is he'll start out and he comes out and he'll make a very aggressive move with his head. Boom. His opponent's not sure if that was just a defensive maneuver to get out of the way of the jab, or if he's setting up a counter, which he does very, very well, very explosively. So a lot of times he'll have his opponent, that guy will throw that jab out, boom, he makes that explosive move inside. Now, this punch, this is a dangerous place to be. I'm inside now. I've made the opponent miss. He's off balance. He's fully extended. There's opportunities for him to come with those counter shots. Usually it's the lead hand. So he'll use that aggressive head movement to walk his opponent down, and it makes him gun shy, because you don't want to miss that shot and be exposed for the counter. So a lot of times that allows Canelo to walk guys to where he wants them, back along those ropes. And then once Canelo has the guys along those ropes, it's that lead hand, man, that lead hand. He hides it really well. A lot of times what he'll do is he'll bait in front of you. He'll step just to see what's up. On the outside, he'll be very aggressive with his head movement. He's got good defense, good upper body rhythm, and then he'll bait his opponent. He steps across that critical distance line, he squares up behind that high guard defense, and he wants you to throw something. And when you throw, that's when he comes back. So that punch comes, he's here, boom, and he comes back with that counter hook.
That's the stance I always see Canelo in. I always feel like he's a shorter guy. He's going to be the shorter guy in this fight. But right there, that movement right there, he's always cocked, has so much torque on his punches.
Yes.
And he just goes and he just unloads. Another thing in this fight that's going to be a really big thing, and it has been for Canelo against the taller opponents, is the body work.
Yes.
How is Canelo going to get inside on Charlo and hammer to the body like he does against all these taller opponents?
Well, just like I said before, he uses that aggressive head movement to work his way inside. Once he gets to that position, a lot of times the opponents don't even realize it, that he's slowly inching his way in, round after round. Once he's there, you mentioned that stance. Notice that front leg, totally loaded. I'm here, I'm loaded up. Also, my level has changed. Now, Canelo has a really tricky left hook. He hides its trajectory. So when he gets low like that, you don't know if that punch is coming up here or down here, because it starts in the same place. The head and the body start in the same place. There's no tell whether it's going to be here.
Let's go back to that. Right there. So you're saying like it can go either upstairs or down.
So put your hands up there. If it's going to be high, or it looks like it's going to be high, it's often low. If it's going to be low, it's often high,
right.
which we've seen multiple times.
Too.
Well, that's going to be what's next. So once he gets you accustomed to being careful to not know if that's going to come down here or here, which pins this arm now to the inside, that's when Canelo comes with the uppercut. He's got two different uppercuts that he likes to use to set up the body shot, the liver shot. He's got his lead uppercut, because he's got a very dynamic lead hand. He'll go here and bounce it down to here. Okay, so he does that same position, gets to here. This guy's now expecting this shot or this shot. He comes here, up the middle, boom, and then he's really looking for that. And when he gets to that position, Canelo completely sells out. He goes, And this front hand, this backhand comes way out. He opens himself all the way up. He puts everything into that shot because he believes in it. The other uppercut that he likes to do, same idea. He loads that up. He gets that guy biting. Once he's here, he goes right uppercut up the middle. He loves to pick the head up, lengthen the body, and then comes right back down to that body. Boom, bang.
That's a big punch. That's a huge punch in this fight. That's how Canelo has made millions on beating taller opponents.
Beat down that body, the head will fall.
A big part of this fight and a big part of the narratives around Canelo at this stage in his career is that maybe he's slowing down a bit. Father time waits for no one. Oscar De La Hoya has said that he literally looks like he's walking through quicksand. He does have slow feet. He always had slow feet. He's not a guy that just bounced around in there. So as you get older as a fighter, what are you seeing from Canelo in terms of his footwork?
I don't know if so much of it's him getting older. I mean, he's had a very long career, obviously. He hasn't taken a lot of damage in his career, though. But yes, he has very slow feet, and he has. And I think a part of that is stylistically and strategic because he's such a power puncher and he wants to knock guys out. So he needs those feet to be set. And he has such good upper body rhythm and defense that he can stand in front of guys. He holds his ground really well. So if he was more mobile on his feet, he would get pushed off balance. Because a lot of guys kind of come in and he just stays right there because he wants to be inside. So a lot of that is by design. But yes, the guys who can move around him, give him in and out, Bivol, gives him a lot of trouble because he's very set on that front foot, especially that move we talked about already. Heavy on that front foot, heavy on that front foot. There's always positions to take a little half step out, make him reset. He's got to be set to punch, and a lot of that is having those feet set.
Do you think now as he's getting a little bit older and he's sitting down more in his punches, he's becoming more of a stationary fighter? Is that why we're seeing him get hit more?
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with reactions. You know, again, he is getting a little older. He's probably, he's 33, so chronologically he is past his prime. He is getting touched more. He's also fighting, top guys. A guy like Bivol, who he's going to touch you. He throws a lot of punches. Caleb Plant was another guy who boxed really well, had good distance, good length. Guys with jabs give him trouble. Triple G had a great jab, gave him tons of trouble.
That's right. And he had good movement, decent movement, Triple G.
Good enough movement, very subtle. Both of them are very subtle defensively, but good jabs, good distance control, and those are the things that give Canelo the most trouble.
Quick interruption. I want to talk to you about ppv.com. It is Canelo Charlo Fight Week, undisputed versus undisputed, and the best way, the only way to order this fight is through ppv.com. They have an interactive chat which will be hosted by Jim Lampley. Yes, that Jim Lampley, one of the best blow-by-blow commentators of all time. Lance Pugmire will be in the chat too. Not only that, we'll be bringing you exclusive content, fighter interviews all week long. So special thanks to our friends over at ppv.com. It is the best way to order a pay-per-view because not only do you have the live interactive chat, but no subscriptions. Boxing's all about subscriptions these days. You don't need that. Not only that, you can stream it on your phone, you can stream it on your laptop, and of course, you can stream it on your big screen TV. So go to ppv.com right now, order the fight, and let's have a great fight week with Canelo, Charlo. Who do you think is going to win the fight? Now back to Chris punching me in the face. All right, let's talk about the other undisputed champion in this fight. That's Jermell Charlo, a very calculated puncher, a very powerful puncher. What is it that makes him so great?
He's a prototypical boxer puncher. He has excellent fundamentals, fantastic hand position on his punches when he's moving in, when he's moving out, when he's throwing punches. Each punch he throws is fundamentally perfect. I mean, he's beautiful to watch. He really does everything well. It's textbook. His hand position, like I said, to his punch variation, the kinds of punches he throws, and he keeps it very fundamentally simple. The fundamentals work from the beginning all the way to the top, and we've seen that with Charlo. I think Charlo's best bet, the things that he does the best, is his left jab. His beautiful left jab sets things up really, really nicely, especially that 1-1-2, and also his distance control. He fights really well from the outside. He's got a really nice pull. When guys come at him, he pulls straight back. He doesn't pull back with his hands down, though. He doesn't get defensively soft here. He keeps those hands up.
So he gets like offensive minded when he pulls back.
He's looking to counter, exactly. He wants you to overextend yourself, be there, and then be there for that counter, because he does pull the trigger very nicely, and he's got a very good right hand. But what even better, though, is his ability to close that distance once he pulls straight back like that. So a lot of times he'll make a guy reach, and then he comes with that 1-1-2. Which is his best combination by far. He's got a nice stutter step with that, where he's got that pull, and then boom, boom, and he's in position to end.
That move right there, that's Charlo to me.
It's that double stutter.
He closes the ground so quick, and then when he smells blood in the water, he pounces.
Yes, and that's something about his style now that he's become a finisher. We don't often see that where guys learn to start finishing guys later in their career. And a lot of that comes from, I think, mentality. He's always hurt guys, but was more defensively aware than we kind of stay on the outside, keep boxing. Now he wants to hurt you, he wants to finish you.
This is a fight at 168 pounds, the first time that Jermell Charlo is going to be up at that weight. It's very crucial that he hurts Canelo in this fight and gets his attention.
Or at least gets respect, yeah.
How is he going to do that? What's the punch from Charlo that's going to get Canelo's attention in this fight?
You know, I think the most important punch is going to be the jab. Like we said earlier, that's a punch that gives Canelo a lot of trouble. But I think he's going to get respect with the left hook. He's got a very, very good, tricky counter left hook. And he does it differently than Canelo. They both have very good, different left hooks. It's almost like the battle of left hooks. For you guys watching at home, watch this fight and watch how they throw left hooks. Totally different punches, which is what shows you the nuance of the sport of boxing and how different even the same punch can be. So, Jermell, what he does when he throws, so you're
switching positions.
Yeah, this is Canelo now, so you're orthodox. So, what Jermell does really well is he slips inside, differently than how Canelo will bait. He'll wait. He's got such good reactions that when that jab comes, he turns in. So that jab comes, he goes in. So you throw that jab straight over the shoulder. He'll go in and then hook right through there. He'll also parry that lead jab at times. When that punch comes, he'll here and then throw that hook over because he has such a short left hook. He doesn't load it up the way Canelo does and throws it as looping. A lot of times he'll just lead with his shoulder, and the hook comes off of that.
That's what's impressive about him. Is like you said, it's a short hook.
Very short.
But it's so powerful. He's got so many knockouts.
Think about Castaño. That punch that finally dropped him was a very short left hook on the inside. It was literally from here. He leads with his hips and his shoulders, almost like a batter's swing, and then the punch comes after. Bang.
That's nasty.
So he rolls first and then throws over and generates a tremendous amount of power that way. Like I said, technically he does every punch well, but I think the left hook is the most dangerous, tricky punch that he has that can earn him some respect from Canelo.
Okay, we've heard what Canelo does great. We've heard what Charlo does great. These are two outstanding fighters. How are they going to use those great attributes in there to get their hand raised? We'll start with Canelo. We know what Canelo's going to do. There's questions about how of a quick start he'll get out there. There's questions about does he still have it? What do you see from Canelo in this fight? How does he win this fight?
I think he's going to fight like he always does, and I don't think he's going to start that fast. I think he's probably going to fall behind early on from the boxing and the hand speed of Charlo early. I think he's going to have to get that timing. Canelo recently has been fighting much bigger, slower guys. Jermell's not slow. He's not slower either. So it's going to be a different speed that he's going to have to get used to early on. So I do believe that Canelo's going to start cautious early. Like I said about his good upper body rhythm and his defense and his aggressive head movement, he's going to use a lot of that early on. Try and close that distance because Jermell can move too. So he's got a guy who's got lateral movement.
Yeah, the thing with this fight to me is what is Jermell Charlo going to do?
Yeah.
We've seen Canelo have issues with movers, B-ball, like talking about, and jab with Golovkin. When it comes to moving, that's not really Charlo's MO. He's going to come in probably below 168, or at least I think he should. Yeah. And he's going to try to use movement, but that's not really Charlo's game with movement.
Yeah, well, I talked about that pullback that he has. I think that's going to be a good weapon for him to try and offset that bait that Canelo has where he dips heavy on that front foot. If Jermell can consistently pop back on that and make Canelo reach, especially with those body shots, there's going to be opportunities for counters. Will that lead to Canelo getting frustrated and leading more and missing more, or will it make it for a boring fight?
But with Charlo, what I mean is like the movement in terms of him literally like on the balls of his feet, bouncing around in there. That's not his. He's a plotter. Both guys are plotters.
He can do it at times. I think he's going to have to do it at times with this because Canelo is going to be literally coming out of his corner looking for him. There's going to be opportunities for him to be moving laterally and then to fire off that because he does have a good 1-1-2 off the back foot. So there's going to be opportunities there. But like you said, that's not something he's used to doing. And doing that for 12 rounds, people forget how tiring moving is. Yeah. Moving is really hard.
I'm tired right now. I'm barely moving.
Anytime you see a mover, they are in great shape. I'm sure Jermell's in great shape, but listen, he's carrying extra weight now too. So there's a lot of questions when it comes to what's going to happen in this fight, and that's why they fight the fight.
And lastly is the punch distribution. Both these guys kind of mirror each other in terms of their punch distribution. They fight different, but they both throw around 40 punches a round, which is really low. It's really below the 168 average, but they have high knockout rates. They depend on power late. Whose power is going to carry late in this fight?
I would imagine the bigger man, right? Canelo is the bigger, sturdier guy. He's been at 68 longer, and he's just a bigger guy. And even though we look at them and say, wow, Jermell's taller, he's not the bigger man. And so I believe that the late power is going to be in Canelo's favor, especially because of his style. He doesn't waste a lot of energy.
Big fight feels out here in Las Vegas. Canelo versus Charlo, and you can watch it live on ppv.com.